Hello, how you doing? It's Phil and Heather in the car. We're at the location that we like to go to on Lookout Mountain, and we're staying in the car this time. Last time we got out and sat in our chairs and we were afraid we were spooking the birds, so today we're staying in the car, or at least we are so far, and we're parked in a little bit different spot than we normally set up and sit. We're actually in a giant mud puddle, but anyway, we're seeing some interesting birds. We've seen some wren of some sort, not Carolina, but some other kind, probably a house wren. We thought it might have been a marsh wren for a while. Both of us got pictures of that, and then Heather got a common yellowthroat, which is not exactly common, and I think that's a lifer for her. And we both saw a blue-winged warbler, but neither one of us have gotten a shot of it. It was high up in the canopy. We were having to hang our heads out the window of the car and point our cameras straight up. We did see it and heard it sing, but we haven't gotten a shot. Here is the house wren that we photographed there from inside the car. Just a cute little bird. I don't think it's as attractive as the more common Carolina wren, and this particular one is really scraggly looking, but we were happy to see it because we don't get very many house wren photographs. And while I was doing that, Heather got this really nice photograph, small in the frame, of a common yellowthroat. And this is a bird that she's seen many times but has never gotten a photograph until today. And she also got this nice photograph of the house wren there in the brush near the car where we were parked. Well, now we're outside the car, and what all have we seen?
Well, we got a picture of a white-eye, and we got
A white-eye what?
White-eye Vireo, and we got a red-bellied woodpecker.
Yeah, which red-bellied woodpecker we can get on our back porch in our blind. But what all have we heard and kind of seen?
We heard a blue-winged warbler, and we heard a Baltimore oriole. We've heard an American redstart, and we heard and saw a merlin.
But no pictures.
No pictures.
We should have stayed at home. We could have been in the blind with birds easy to shoot that are not far away.
On that big dead
Oh
tree.
yeah, I see it. Anyway, we're still having fun, but it's gotten to where even though the birds are less exotic, we kind of like working from home better. Here's my photograph of the white-eyed Vireo there, and it looks like it's in a honeysuckle bush. You can see a honeysuckle flower over on the right and another one back behind it. And here's another one of my photos of the white-eyed Vireo, a little bit higher up this time. Still beautiful, although I do prefer looking straight at the bird instead of looking up at the bird. And here's Heather's shot. You can see Heather Boyd in the bottom right. And she got a shot on that same perch as my first shot. And I think she shared too. Yes, here's another shot from that same perch. We love the white-eyed Vireo with its subtle colors and those amazing white eyes. I've been using the FV mode, which is an interesting mode, flexible value on newer Canon cameras for a while. And Heather started using it today for the first time. What do you think?
I like it. It's really easy.
Yeah, pretty cool. Here's my photograph of the male red-bellied woodpecker. What a beautiful example, and this is the most red-bellied woodpecker I believe I have ever seen. And you know, I got some really great shots last week back at home in the blind of a red-bellied woodpecker, but here they are in the wild, not in a controlled situation like at home in the blind. This is Heather's shot of that same red-bellied woodpecker. Not in the exact same place, very close though. It only stayed in this area for just a few seconds while Heather and I made our shots. When we shoot in FV mode or flexible value mode, we're still doing manual shutter speed and manual aperture with automatic ISO just like we normally do. It just makes it easier to control. When you shoot in flexible value mode, you use this front command dial to adjust your shutter speed, your ISO, your aperture, and your exposure compensation. And you use this rear command dial to switch between shutter speed, aperture, exposure compensation, and ISO. So here's the camera, and you can see the orange icon there on shutter speed. And as you move the rear command dial, you can see it moves to aperture and to exposure compensation and to ISO. And you can turn that rear command dial, and whenever you get it to where you find what you want to adjust, then you can start turning the front command dial, and you can see now I'm adjusting the shutter speed with that front command dial. And once you get that where you want it, you can move to your aperture and adjust it, and then you can do exposure compensation, You can go up and down on exposure compensation anytime you want to. If you're on ISO, aperture, or shutter speed, you can hit the garbage can and turn it on auto. But we set our aperture and then we set our shutter speed, and then we leave our control on exposure compensation and move it up and down as needed on the fly. Really helpful. We found another white-eyed Vireo, or maybe the same one, in a different location. This time it was a little bit higher up in this tree, but the tree was down the hill from us, so we were still kind of eye level with the bird. Look at this small in the frame shot I made of the white-eyed Vireo, and look how well it blends in with its surroundings. And now here's Heather's shot from that same perch as my first shot was in. We love that white-eyed Vireo, and we hope we get to see it again maybe next week. We are really struggling this morning, but I think I just got a eastern towhee, which is a bird we see at home but rarely get a shot of at home. Matter of fact, I just heard one. But like I say, we're having a hard time today. Here is that eastern towhee photograph that I made, and look, this one's eyes aren't the deep red that you normally see on a male eastern towhee. These kind of have an orange look to them. I'm not sure why that is. And Heather got this white-throated sparrow, just a beautiful shot deep in the thicket, but she did a really nice job on the edit, and I think it looks really beautiful. And she got another shot a little bit higher up in a tree of the red-bellied woodpecker. Just beautiful, also a male, and this one has the nice bokeh-fied background that she made. And that was our last bird of the day. Well, I think we're going to call it a day from our spot here on Lookout Mountain. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, and as always, we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.